President Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100. Maybe 100. Maybe 100. Maybe 100.
President Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100.
It's well documented that we have, for quite a long time now, known where the real problem is in the Middle East. And in fact, the President adequately described it as the axis of evil. I guess my question is, how many times do we have to prove that these people are blowing up people now, never mind if they get a nuclear weapon? When do we send them an airmail message to Tehran?
That old Beach Boys song, Bomberan? Bom, 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 bom. Anyway,
And we could go through all those, but I only signed a new 4-year contract. Let me just go through a couple of them. They included whether Roe v. Wade should be overturned, a change on that, whether gay marriage should be allowed, Falwell and other elements of the religious right, are they agents of intolerance? Tax cuts for the wealthy are a good idea, maybe not. The torture of detainees, which he opposed before he essentially gave the president free rein on it. South Carolina's use of the Confederate flag, even elements of his own issue, campaign finance. Even if this is all deliberate, how much stretching can anybody's credibility take?
On tax cuts, you were on this program back in '03, and I asked you this. Do you believe the president, because of the war, should be asking Americans for more sacrifice, should not hold off any future tax cuts, should hold off any future tax cuts? We have a sense of the cost of the war and state economy. Yes, I do. I believe that until we find out the cost of this war and the reconstruction, that we should hold off on tax cuts. You came back the next year. I again asked you about opposing the Bush tax cuts, and this is what you said.
I voted against the tax cuts because of the disproportionate amount that went to the wealthiest Americans. I would clearly support not extending those tax cuts in order to help address the deficit.
Disproportionate to the wealthiest Americans, and you wouldn't extend them because it would hurt the deficit. You voted to extend them.
I voted to extend them because it would have the effect of having a tax increase.
Should gay marriage be allowed?
I think that gay marriage should be allowed if there's a ceremony kind of thing, if you want to call it that. I don't have any problem with that, but I do believe in preserving the sanctity of a union between man and woman. Could I just mention one other thing? On the issue of the gay marriage, I believe if people want to have private ceremonies, it's fine. I do not believe that gay marriages should be legal.
Actress Whoopi Goldberg came out for total abolition of the death tax, sir. Do you agree with her?
I agree with her. I've always admired her enormously. Now my admiration knows no bounds.
But the big news, Larry, that you need to stress here is the persuasiveness of Whoopi Goldberg.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, well, she turned John McCain around on the death tax. He's always been in favor of keeping the death tax, as recently as 2005. Publicly declaring he was going to vote to keep the death tax, but I heard him say to you that he agrees with Whoopi Goldberg, so I want to get her out on the campaign trail.